Okay, so let's talk about a little wrestling today. So recently we had the return of Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. Yes, acknowledge him. He returned at SummerSlam, long awaited return. We hadn't seen him since WrestleMania. Now, I believe the build for this was pretty damn good. I hear a lot of talk about, oh, Solo is the Timu tribal chief and Wish.com tribal chief. That's what the character is supposed to be, guys. He's supposed to be this knockoff tribal chief. He's supposed to make you hate him so much that you're ready for Roman Reigns to return. So remember, Roman Reigns was did a lot of foul stuff as the tribal chief, especially during those early times of the tribal chief. Remember how he treated Jay. Remember how he treated Jimmy. He made them like his indentured servants. Along the way, he gaslit them. He was everything you did not want the head of a table to really be to the family, because he manipulated them, he used them. So he did a lot of foul stuff. So to make sure that when he returns, he's this huge baby face that Vince McMahon had tried to make him be 10 years ago when he had him saying suffering succotash. This is what happened. So I commend Solo Sikoa for the job he's done since WrestleMania, taking on this persona as the tribal chief, the interim tribal chief, essentially. So at SummerSlam, we had we had Solo facing Cody Rhodes. There was no doubt in our mind that Cody Rhodes was not going to drop the belt to Solo Sikoa, but it was how we're going to get there. How are we going to get to Roman's return? So I'm gonna be honest. I thought we were gonna see Jimmy Uso return at some point. I thought he was gonna be like the first one to kind of come out, but they opted to do the Kevin Owens, Randy Orton route, to which obviously made sense. They had been feuding with the Bloodline over the past few weeks, so it made sense for them to kind of do it. Now, I wasn't a big fan of them kind of doing a rinse and repeat of the ending of WrestleMania with kind of a lesser cast. I mean, you had The Undertaker and you had The Rock and you had John Cena, Seth Rollins, all these guys come out to make this huge moment. And now you kind of have, kind of a B-list cast of characters doing the same thing. But again, it built to the ultimate return of the tribal chief. So Roman returns at the end. He does kind of the face off well, he takes out Solo, and then he does the spear and does Superman punch on Solo to kind of be the equalizer or whatever, and then you see him walk off. I thought it was cool how they did have Roman kind of looking at Cody and kind of looking at Solo and just kind of looking back at the ring. He just kind of went down the ramp. And it's like, okay, what is he thinking? Is he thinking he wants his rematch? Is he thinking, I'm going to just totally focus on, regaining control of the bloodline and getting the Olafala? And all of like, you just didn't know what he was thinking. So it created that. But the crowd went nuts. So you knew they executed it right. Of course, Cody gets the win. So that the following SmackDown, which was pretty good, from last Friday, we saw Roman Reigns return in the main event segment of the show. Here is where I think the misstep was. I think to really put heat on this rivalry and to really, like, the Bloodline needed their heat back because Roman cost Solo the match, right? So they needed their heat back. They needed to take down Roman. Now, I don't know if the Jacob Fatu injury has anything to do with that, but I mean, Roman came in and cleaned house. Like, 1 against 3, he's cleaned up. Maybe 1 against 2 because Solo did go up the ramp. But I mean, he literally took out the Tongans like they were just some foot soldiers in this whole thing, and not, viable threats to him and his return, right? He just cleaned the house. So that, I think they should have got their heat back somehow, some way. Even if you've got to call up another Bloodline member. I know Zillow is in the independent scene right now, but he's cooking. He looks like he's ready. Um, They just added the other Fat 2 kid, or don't know his name. Name is escaping me, but they just added him to the roster. I know he's real tall. Like, bring him in, even if it is just for that moment, and you still send him to NXT. But something to get the Bloodline their heat back on this guy. Roman should have gotten beat down on Friday night. That should have been the closing segment of the show. He should have been on his back, um, with Solo, with the Olafala, walking off with Roman just laying there. And, that's how you get their heat back. Then you can keep Roman off TV for a couple weeks. And then maybe a few weeks, because I'm pretty sure he's not going to be at Bash at Berlin. I think his next match is going to be at Bad Blood against Solo Sikoa, which is perfect. But it tells a good story. You keep him off because, hey, you hurt him, right? You hurt this guy. You keep him off TV for a little bit. You get the Bloodline their heat back. The next few weeks on SmackDown, you can then have Solo bragging about how we left we left y'all's OTC, in the middle of the ring, blah 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 blah, and that can be his whole gimmick. But with Roman just really coming in and cleaning house and making the Tongans look like a couple of jabronis, which I mean they kind of are. I think Tama Tonga has a little bit of swag and a little bit of sauce, but and can probably do something. But Tonga Loa is a piece of trash. Like, he sucks. I don't even know if it's by design how bad. Like, he's so bad it almost feels like it's got to be by design, right? But at the end of the day, that's how I think that should have gone. But it's not what we got. But happy to see the Tribal Chief back. I think it's going to be great TV no matter what. Anytime he's on, the ratings are up, and it feels great to have that big superstar, and it feels great that he got the reaction that he deserved, right? For all those years, I mean, I love the Shield, but in reality, he was not the man with the Shield. The Shield was literally a unit, and they all kind of moved as that unit. There was no alpha really in that. He was the muscle, but he wasn't just that alpha. You move him out of that situation, and they tried to put the rocket ship on him. They had him win that 2015 Rumble, and he got crapped on the whole entire way, because it just felt so forced. And then they had his cousin Rock come out and do it, and it just doomed his entire run, because it felt so forced and contrived by the system, and that's not what they wanted. But this year, the last 4 years, with him being such a believable villain, him coming into his own, not being this corporately pushed champion, and really being, I've always said, to be a great baby face, you need to first be a great heel, right? It's easier to get people to hate you than it is to get people to like you. So once you get that, but then there's also that thin line between love and hate, right? When you become such a great heel that the audience begins to connect with you, it's going to be easy to flip that switch when it's time, and they're going to be just raring to cheer for you. I've also been watching the year 1997 Raw. I didn't have cable back in 97, so all of these episodes are new to me. And, when I look at the programming from then, and to see how, beloved Stone Cold Steve Austin was, and to see how the once beloved Bret the Hitman Hart was hated so much by American fans. And it was just brilliant television, great television. That this is really the genesis of the Attitude Era, because I know it was in response to what WCW was doing at the time with the NWO and all of that, which ended up being a shit show. We know, but WWE got it right. So really good TV. I think we're in store for. Again, I really wish they would have worked it a little differently with the whole Tribal Chief return on SmackDown. I do think he should have gotten beat down a little bit, but I'm here for the ride. Anyway, look forward to another episode. I am the Wrestling Brother. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll be back with more content a little bit later. Peace.